What's up, everybody? Brett here, back today giving you some more Battle Brothers news. So, Blazing Deserts DLC Preview Part 1 has dropped. This is from Overhyped themselves, so it's kinda long. It's moderately rambly, right? Trust me, I got no problem with rambling. I want to hear every little tidbit of information that they have to put in this 15-minute video. But I went ahead and I scanned through it myself a couple times just to try to isolate some of the info that I think you guys would find useful. And what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the sound all the way off. And we're just going to skip around through the video. And I'm going to kind of tell you in a much briefer way what they're talking about. And hopefully fill you guys in on some of the news. But before we do that, let's just read what's written here. It says, welcome to the first part of our preview video series on the upcoming Blazing Deserts DLC. To kick things off, January will... Oh, Jan. Sorry. I don't know why. It abbreviated... I was like, that's got to be an abbreviation for January. Jan. Thank you, Jan. We'll take you on a quick tour through the extended world map, the town screen of the city-states, the gladiator's origin, and the arena feature. So there's a lot of cool stuff in here. It says, once again, the Blazing Deserts DLC will release on August 13th for the price of $15 or your regional equivalent. You can already wishlist it on Steam right here and GOG. Okay, so let's go ahead and full screen this bad boy and hit play. And right off the bat, not much is shown. It's going to take a second probably to clear it up. It did for me earlier as well. Just give it a sec here. So basically what he's about to start showing is the kind of the map as a whole. But he doesn't really show too much. There we go. Nice. It clears up nicely. All it looks like right now is that... I mean, honestly, it doesn't look like that big of an extension of the map. What I see right now is a completely normal Battle Brothers map with the desert region at the bottom, but instead of the desert region being occupied by northern settlements, they added like an extra maybe 20% to the map and stuck these southern city-states at the bottom. So, not trash talking, not by any means, but it's definitely not the kind of huge additions that I was sort of hoping for. And there we get a nice little close-up of the actual, kind of the artwork, I suppose, of the city-states themselves as we sort of zoom around. So let's jump just a bit here till we get to, I think he's going to talk for a second about the Oracle. So what's important about this? There are 3 religious locations located in the south. So he goes on to explain that the Holy War, the late game crisis, isn't a war where, as the North, you try to conquer the southern city-states, or as a southern city-state, you try to take territory from the North. It's actually a war for control of the 3 religious sites, and that by controlling them, you essentially win the war, and that you may have the option to support either side, no matter what starting origin you decide to choose from. So I thought that was pretty neat. You're basically a true mercenary in that sense. Now let's go into the city here of Al Anwar and see if there's anything we can notice aside from the cool and new and different like buildings here. He's going to check out the weaponsmith for a second. You can see he's already got some low tier weaponry in his inventory. He's already got a grenade. He takes a brief second to mouse over the two-handed scimitar. And let's see, it's not a terribly expensive weapon. It looks like it's going to be kind of a tier... You know I like to put things in tiers if you watch my videos. Kind of like a tier 2.5 maybe. What I'm struggling with right now is I've compared some of the stats that I've seen on a lot of these weapons to northern variants. And it seems like the northern variants stat-wise are superior. But I'm hoping there's just some subtlety to a lot of these weapons that once I get them next to each other and can really compare them and break them down, it'll be obvious to me what the benefits are. Because the people who design Battle Brothers, they know what they're doing. And then next we look at the two-handed Saif, which is also it's like a two-handed cleaver, which means the damage comes from the bleed. So we don't necessarily want to look at the damage stat. You're gonna get the ability to bleed and cut dudes' heads off. So that's gonna be different. Yeah, a lot of times the stats can also just come from what the actual skill is, the actual attack. All right, next up he's going to head into the marketplace and show off some of the new tradable items. We can see spices there. It looks like we got silk and incense. And some of the newer foods too. I can't quite tell what they are. Not familiar enough with the cuisine of the region to know off the top of my head. We've got rice, dried lamb, and dates. Ah, okay. They look like chicken nuggets, but of course they're dates. Of course. All right, and next he's going to head into the armory. And we'll see here, I think the prices here that he has on his playthrough are kind of bad. So it's kind of hard to know where the prices really fall. So a linothorax is, linen that covers your chest, essentially. It's layered linen, and it's got a decent early game armor value. I mean, you're going to be shooting to have all of your earliest game brothers inside of these. Yeah, it's probably going to be really cheap. Right now, though, it's looking a little expensive. And then he mouses over briefly the Southern Mail shirt, which, yeah, if you could get it closer to like 2,100 or something like that in terms of price, this could be okay. It seems maybe a little heavy for its durability. I have to compare it to something of the northern variety to get a real feel. It looks amazing, though. I love the gold and green accents. That's kind of my thing. But that's really all we're going to get a look at right there, sadly. But he will go into the Alchemist, which is pretty cool. So he's going to sort of explain that previously in the Beast and Exploration DLC, the only way you could get these potions was to craft them. So you had to go to a taxidermist with all these ingredients and make these potions. But occasionally, the Alchemist will have just different types of potions to choose from. And you'll see they also offer ammunition for standard bows and crossbows, but also bullets. There we've got a cat potion. So hopefully this will make this stuff easier to use. I always hoped that what you could buy, maybe make these a little more expensive and make them refillable. And for a moment here, he very briefly hovers over the flash pot. A throwable pot filled with mysterious powders that react violently on impact to create a bright flash and loud bang. Will daze anyone close by. So this is a one-time use. It's 763 gold, which, once again, I think his prices are off in this town. So it could be much cheaper. You might be able to find these for 500, 400, something like that, which to me makes them, much better. But we'll have to wait and see. To me, I just can't see myself using things like this until the late game when I'm just rolling in money. And even then, I've got ideas for my money. I've got, famed items I'm trying to buy. So it's always hard to justify consumables as purchases unless they really help you to win a fight. But, I mean, AoE stuns and AoE damage seems like the type of thing that could help you win a fight. So now he jumps over into the gladiator background. And let's kind of see, we can skip over here. We've got the viper, the lion, and the bear. Yeah, he talks for a while about this stuff. So we've got the gladiator trait. By fighting in the arena, they all start with this because they're gladiators, of course. But any brother who fights in the arena a lot can gain the arena fighter trait, which gives them +5 resolve. So, I mean, that's worth it, man. If you can take some of your brothers in there and get them that +5 resolve, that's very worth it. Glorious Resolve. So each one of these three guys has their own unique version of this. So this particular one, Herad the Lion, has Glorious Resolve, which gives him a chance to reroll failed morale checks, which is, I mean, that's great. I don't imagine Resolve will actually be much of a problem on these characters anyway. They're pretty damn strong. The next guy he's going to mouse over has, gains 5% damage reduction with every hit taken up to a limit of 25%. So that's insane. So he's your tank. You want him to take those hits. I think this might be the first time we've ever seen static, like a ward save, like damage reduction. Interesting. He also notes that the gladiators, one of their downsides, because they are pretty awesome, is that they are quite expensive in terms of upkeep, but that losing them also ends your campaign, just like the Lone Wolf, which is something we knew. And then the last guy, Sanan the Viper here, who uses the new dagger type and a net. It says, upon killing an enemy on their turn, this character immediately gains 1 action point. So it's very similar to Berserk, and he also mentions that it stacks with Berserk. And you'll notice here, he also has Bloodthirsty. So this dude is going to be a pretty dirty fighter. And you start off at level 3, I think he said. He's already allocated his points. I don't think they come pre-allocated. That would be pretty weird. I would not enjoy that pre-allocated points. So he's going to jump into the arena. He talks for a second about the different types of arenas. So you get just the ones that are like your standard mission, right? You do the mission, you get the rewards, you're out. But what there also is occasional events, which allow for larger arena battles between more brothers and more enemies that also allow you to stay in the arena for multiple fights in a row. I think he says 3. And then from that, you can earn a famed weapon or maybe armor. Let's see. He does this for a hot second. Let's come over here, and I'll take a second to read this together. It's one of our first little like lore bits that we're going to get. Story bits. So dozens of men mingle about the arena's entrance. Some stand stoically, not wishing to give any hint of their capabilities. Others, however, boast and brag with aplomb, either sincerely confident in their martial skills or hoping their bravado masks any holes in their game. A grizzled man in the company of slaves, the master of the arena, holds up a scroll and taps it with a hook for a hand. Hyenas! Hyenas. 2 of the giggling mutts, to be exact. Good luck, and may the Gilder watch over you. One of the slaves holds out strange-looking collars as the arena master continues. When you're ready, put these on the 3 men who'll be doing the fighting. Then let us know who to take into the pits. Anyone not wearing these will not be allowed in. Not you, not the vizier. Dare I say even the Gilder may be turned down. So, in order to keep you from using warhounds, armored warhounds, and taking them into your fights, your men have to put on collars. So here we see fight versus 2. You're going to get 750 for that. And then, yeah, he talks for a minute about certain things. Fast forward here until he shows the actual collars. So it's just to keep you from using any of those types of items. And it designates which brothers are going into the pits. Okay, let's skip ahead here as he goes to fight some hyenas. Well, that was another little lore bit there. See if I can... Oh god, of course it's going to be like real brief. There we go. The gate rises. Nothing is heard save the rattle of chains, the creak of pulleys, the grunts of slaves at work. When the men of the Battle Brothers step out of the arena's bowels, they can hear the crunch of sand underfoot until they come to stand in the center of the pit. A strange voice screams from the tops of the stadium, some lost language beyond your knowing, but the words echo just once before the crowd erupts with cheers and roaring. Now is the time your men shall prove themselves before the watchful eye of the commoner. Let's give the crowd something to cheer for. Or they actually give you another chance to back out. That's kind of interesting. I wonder what happens if you do that, if you actually get to back out. So what he's going to showcase here, the arena, when stuff happens, the people in the arena cheer, which is kind of cool. The hyenas themselves get showcased for a bit. They cause bleeding to unarmored targets. They have a tough time really fighting through the armor of the gladiators. But they do apply overwhelm, much like the frenzy direwolves. Which is kind of more what I would compare them to. They are probably a tankier version. We'll have to compare the stats once they get released. But they cause overwhelm, which is a problem because they attack 3 times. So 3 stacks of overwhelm. And if you're not wearing armor, you're going to be bleeding. So pretty tough. Fighting 2 of them here, they still manage to do quite a bit of damage. But ultimately, he uses the net. I think this is called a Qatar combo. So he nets it down, which makes it, more likely that he's going to land the shot, and then he uses the death blow ability, which gets bonus damage versus disabled targets. 33% more damage. So, yeah, pretty brutal. And I think it also has an ignore armor stat as well. And then he's just going to beat down these poor helpless hyenas. And he's going to get the XP. He's going to get the money as if it's a quest, as usual, or a contract rather. And I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all the info that we get here. But, yeah, so a bit of a weird one, guys. We end up showcasing someone else's video, but that's just the way it is. There was still lots of good information in there. We got a chance to actually see what we're going to get our hands on just a bit. Obviously, we didn't get to kind of get the full effect of roaming around the map and, running into war bands and serpents and, ifrits and stuff, which will be sort of the whole fun once we get the game ourselves. I will say, though, that if you're going to do one of the company origins that starts in the south, you don't have a lot of room to play around in. I was expecting something a little bit bigger. That's all I'm going to say. Not huge, not way bigger, but a little bit more space to roam around in, so that especially in the early game, I don't feel compelled to go to the north. That I felt like I would feel like I have enough options in the south, especially in the early game when it's the most important that you find battles that are appropriate to your level and ability. You need more options. And one of the things that the north, the entire map gives you is the ability to roam from place to place, pick and choose your battles while still progressing and, trading and exploring and doing all these other things. But if I felt like I was going to try to role play a bit and stay in the south, it might be a little bit harder because my options are fewer. So one thing that's also, I will say, is nice and something I just considered is that you're not going to be barred from doing business in any of the city-states as you might be in some of the larger, like more capital type cities and fortress and citadel cities of the north. So maybe that equals out. Every city is available to you, and you can make use of all of the resources within. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for Overhype putting out this little teaser video, and look forward to next week. Yeah, without any further ado, guys, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Take care, y'all.